Okay, it's just me again. Ooh, okay. You're gonna have to bear with me a minute because I apparently have the monitor on in my headphones and it's messing with me. Okay, we'll be all right. Let me just fix that because I don't need to hear me. It sounds like I'm coming through okay. Okay, so I'm still in experimentation mode because, well, it looks like Restream is working pretty well and OBS is working pretty well, and I've been working at this machine since about 2:00 this morning, and right now my article view, rather than being an article that I'll monitor full of I'm looking at the Facebook stream and the YouTube stream and the Twitter stream, and it looks like Daily Motion is not getting update data. Periscope is apparently going out of business, but I've got a viewer over on Twitch for the first time. So good morning, Twitch viewers. That's a new one for us. We've had a channel on Twitch for some time, but we just haven't done anything with it. I apologize for any confusion this morning. It looks like when I set up the stream this morning, I used... Yeah, Steve's saying, so you're aware the YT title is still yesterday's. Yeah, it looks like what happened is when I scheduled a stream this morning using the Restream interface through the broadcasting software, and it looks like when I hit streaming, it created a whole new stream instead of streaming to the scheduled live stream. So I still got a few bugs to work out, and hopefully I don't have too many people over on the scheduled live stream waiting for the live stream to start. And if we do, well, that's just how it goes today. Let me see. So I'm actually going to be doing a little bit of tech support on me this morning. Steve says that's a little clunky. Is that the or Steve, are you referring to the setup or are you referring to the audio? Because I did a lot of work on the audio this morning. Anyway, Yeah, so looks like I just got that one a little wrong. Still got some bugs to work out. We'll be live again this evening, I think. Cameron's got training stuff he's got to do this morning, and basically work is getting in the way of his work is getting in the way of our work this morning. But no, for real. I'm glad the boy's out working. Not everybody's got the job right now. So yeah, this evening we'll be on live for a little while. If y'all want to join us and just hang out and chit chat, that'd be awesome. We'd love to see you. But we're going to be doing basically a tech call thing. We're just going to be live to play around with these settings and to test them on the live streaming and all that. So, but looks like I've got one watching on Facebook. So good morning to you. I've got a handful of people on YouTube, and like I said, there's something funny with the way I've got it set up. This is one of those things where there's a lot of moving parts and it's hard to get them all right. And I think the only real issue that I'm having there is that YouTube and Facebook are showing a scheduled streaming event, and then the actual streaming event created separately from those, so that didn't turn out quite correctly. I'm gonna hit update all. Let me know if you see the title of the video update. It should have been early voting in Georgia, not the Adventures at the VA thing. So I'm just gonna talk briefly about that. and then get off the air. I'm not going to do a long show this morning because I've still got a lot of technical details to work out. I might pop up and down throughout the day. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. Early voting is on in Georgia right now. If you have not voted yet, I haven't voted yet. Early voting started Monday. If you watched the show yesterday, you know I was busy Monday, and basically my recovery from this recent surgery is supposed to be 4 to 6 weeks, and I'm about a week and a half in. So I'm thinking probably I will not actually try to go early vote until next week. Just Krista's telling me she clicked the live in 30 notice and it's still counting down days live at 7:40. Gotcha. So, oh well, I'll clean that up in post. So, the runoff is in January, and that is between. I'm actually. No, okay, no, I've got it. It's Loeffler. It's between Loeffler and Warnock, and between Perdue and Ossoff. I'm not super excited about Loeffler or Perdue, but Warnock and Ossoff are serious threats to the stability of the future. So here's what your options are. I hate to admit it, Loeffler and Perdue essentially represent status quo going forward. And by status quo, what I mean is the United States continues to be a representational republic governed by the Constitution of the United States of America. And we continue to have checks and balances between three co-equal branches of government which have distinctly enumerated separations of authority. That's where we are if Perdue and Loeffler win. If Warnock and Ossoff win, what we have is basically the Senate ceases to exist and just becomes a sort of pageantry to justify the use of a rubber stamp by Kamala Harris, which will be used to create 3 new states, right? They will make the Virgin Islands, Washington, D.C., and Puerto Rico states, each of which will get 2 Democrat senators, further destroying the power, the legitimacy and the impartiality of the Senate, and delivering that power entirely into the hands of the Democrat Party. Then they will pack the court. They will add justices to the Supreme Court until they have an impenetrable majority of left-wing radical activists on the court, each of whom will be aggressive bigots. They will be, at the barest minimum, vocally avowed racists like Justice Sotomayor. The best you can hope for is a bullshit, wool over the eyes pseudo-conservative like Roberts, who is, placed on the court by a conservative and then votes in every major important landmark decision with the liberals and just continues to generate the illusion of impartiality by pretending to not be that photocopy. So that's what's at stake in this election. Now you've got people who are suggesting that we should boycott this election. You've got people suggesting that we should boycott this election because the presidential election was illegitimate. I will not say that it is a fact that the presidential election was illegitimate. I will, however, say that if you are not highly suspicious of the circumstances around the November 3rd election, you're stupid. You're at least willfully ignorant. Or you are so dedicated to the proposition of a one-party political system that no longer has elections that you are happily supporting active fraud. Now, I'm not saying that I know for sure that the election went the wrong way because of fraud. But if you're not suspicious, given the evidence that we have, I know a few things about you. You're a liar, you're a hypocrite, and you're probably an idiot. And I'll qualify that, because I will bet pennies to pesos that if you hold the position that this was the most secure election in U.S. history, despite all the evidence to the contrary, you're probably the same people who were screaming about Russia, where there was no evidence. There was evidence put forward, which we have come to discover was completely fabricated, entirely false, and was fabricated by way of actual felonies. People committed high crimes against the United States people. People committed... This is not a speculation or an opinion that I'm expressing. We're talking about things like the Steele dossier, the abuse of the FISA system. Okay? I'm not speculating on some conspiracy theory here. It is 100% incontrovertibly fact-positive proved that the entire Russiagate narrative was the result of a large number of active criminal activities crafted specifically for the purpose of overturning a U.S. election. Now, in that same election, we're talking 2016 now, Hillary and Trump. In that same election, every major news personality that you now hear talking about the legitimacy of this election and the legitimacy conferred to Joe Biden as president-elect by the process, every one of them, without exception, has tweets on Twitter or articles in major news outlets like the New York Times, CNN, etc., the whole Chinese propaganda mechanism. Every single one of them has articles from 2016 where they made arguments that we should abolish the Electoral College and that the vote should be decided on the popular vote always and forever. Every one of them made an argument like that, or they argued that the electors in the Electoral College had a constitutional duty. Not that it was a good idea, right? I mean, they were arguing that it was a good idea, but they were arguing explicitly that they had a constitutional authority and therewith an assumed constitutional duty and an assumed moral duty to vote for Hillary instead of Donald Trump, right? And now they're going on about the legitimacy conferred by the Electoral College on President Joe Biden. You cannot have it both ways, okay? You cannot have it both ways. And this is a problem of the left. You see it in all of their arguments. They will argue that there's no such thing as biological gender, that that's not a thing, that there's no such thing as biological gender, but homosexuality is a genetic predisposition and not a personal lifestyle choice. These two things cannot be true at the same time. And I'm not saying either of them is false in this statement. I'm saying that you cannot simultaneously assert both of these things to be true. They are mutually exclusive. Either mammalian species are sexually dichotomous, and amid that sexual dichotomy, there is a genetic condition that predisposes one to be attracted to the same sex, or there is no such thing as biological sex. You cannot have it both ways. Both things cannot be simultaneously true. Both things can be simultaneously false. But The truth condition of both statements is in simultaneity, are mutually exclusive. Not possible. You'll see this in all their arguments. So you see people right now who are arguing that the Electoral College confers legitimacy to President Joe Biden. You will not find one person making that argument that has not previously argued for the abolition of the Electoral College under the argument grounds that the Electoral College is either an illegitimate process or a non-democratic process or a usurpation of the democratic process, which is patently just insane. What you have is a gross pain of the failures of our public education system. These guys keep a constitution handy and read it. I was hammering on this the other day. You need to read your constitution like a priest reads his Bible. This is the supreme law of the land. I mean, obviously, this is a copy of the supreme law of the land, but you need to read your Constitution and know it. Know your rights. Know what the laws and ordinances in your area are, and understand them, study them, right? And learn whether or not they are in conflict with the Constitution, because they are explicitly not permitted to be so, according to the Constitution, which explicitly enumerates authorities to governments. The Constitution does not enumerate exclusively the rights of the people. It enumerates specific rights and holds forward that there are additional unenumerated, inalienable natural rights conferred to you by your Creator. Right? But it does explicitly enumerate the authorities of the government. And if it is not an enumerated authority of the government within the Constitution, for example, controlled substances, the idea that we have prohibitions on things like marijuana, cocaine, drugs, that's not okay. Right? I'm not a big pro-drugs guy. I'm not a big pro-legalization guy because I want people to have access to drugs and I think I want to smoke a bunch of pot or do a bunch of coke or anything like that. Hey, Patrick Brown just joined us on Facebook. Good to see you this morning, brother. I'm not one of those. However, the Constitution does not convey the authority to the U.S. government to control those substances. Now, the argument by which the federal government assumes that authority is under the Commerce Clause, which is an absolutely illegitimate assumption from the Commerce Clause, and it's a gross usurpation of authority by the United States government. That there are, and proof in the pudding, we had abolition in this country on alcohol, right? The Roaring 20s. An amendment was passed, right? It took a constitutional amendment to institute abolition and, prohibition. My apologies. It also took a constitutional amendment to instantiate abolition, but that's not what I'm talking about. It took a constitutional amendment to instantiate prohibition, and it took another constitutional amendment, the 21st, to eliminate prohibition. And why is that? Precisely because when they went to do prohibition, they understood that the government did not have the authority to do prohibition. And so it had to ask the people to authorize that authority. And having ceded that authority foolishly to the government, as the people did, the only way to take that authority back was with another amendment to the Constitution. Now, when you look at the state of the world today, we are on a train wreck course to a country that does not have a constitutional representative republic. If Warnock and Ossoff win in January, we are North Korea. We will have one Labor Party, we'll have the People's Party that you're allowed to vote for. And if you vote for the opposition party, who is allowed to exist for the express and singular purpose of conveying to the rest of the world the patina, the illusion of a democratic state, you will be executed by the government for the crime of sedition or for the crime of treason. There will be elections. Your vote will be observed. And if you fail to vote for the party in power, that would be the Democrat Party at this point, you will be executed for your crimes. I hope that the gravity of this is not being lost on you guys. This is not speculation. This is a pattern of history that we can observe in other countries which have been taken over by Chinese communists over time. And that's where we are today. The Chinese Communist Party is buying America. And more importantly, the Democrat National Committee, the Democrat Party of the United States of America, is selling our country to that great enemy of liberty for their own personal profit. No, Patrick mentions 1984. You know, I keep seeing people talk about 1984 and cracking the joke. I'll see the hat that looks like a MAGA hat and it says, "Make Orwell fiction again." I'm telling you guys, Brave New World is the one you need to be looking at. The Brave New World is the one you need to be looking at. 1984 paints a bleak future. It really does. It paints a future where you have no freedom, but it's a miserable freedom. Or it's a miserable prison, right? In the story in the Brave New World, in the story in 1984, nobody's happy about where they are, right? I mean, they make a point about the guy having a limited number of cigarettes and not being allowed to get any more because of the rationing situation, and how he has to shave with the same razor for so long that it's dull that he's shaving with a dull razor more often than not. You look at Brave New World. Look at America right now, and things like critical race theory, things like California working its ass off to reinstitute segregation, diversity policies, the whole question of the whole movement of equality, right? Naming individual groups where, okay, we live in a country where the law says that it is a criminal activity to discriminate in hiring practices between people based on immutable characteristics. And in that country, we have groups that define themselves by those immutable characteristics, demanding equal rights. Well, you have them. If you're demanding equal rights in America, you need to point at where the law makes you unequal. So now, if you're a man, if you're especially a white man demanding equal rights in America, there are some things you could point at. You can point at injustices in the court system vis-a-vis divorce law, divorce proceedings. You can point to the imbalance where even incompetent women with drug habits and low wages and filthy homes are awarded custody of their children at the great financial expense of the father, even when the father is in a significantly better position to raise the children. That is part of America right now. That is frankly unacceptable, but it is a part of the country right now. But if you're going to be arguing for equal rights, you need to point to the law and show me where your rights are unequal in this country. Most of the time, you're not going to be able to find anything. You're not going to be able to point at anything. But what is all this working toward? What are they doing? Not segregation. No. Balkanization. That's the objective. They don't want red states versus blue states. They want black states versus white states versus yellow states versus red states versus gay states. The objective is to corner you all up into geographical prisons where you exist in a limited intellectual bubble and are never able to form functional coalitions to fight government corruption and reclaim the actual equality that is conferred to men who are assumed to be created equal by the Constitution and the Declaration. All right? So, I said it was going to be a short show. I'm at 35 minutes streaming, so I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. I do want to, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and call that the end of the show. But if y'all want to hang out with me for just a minute, since I see that it's mostly my boys and, of course, Danny and Krista, glad to have you guys here. Hang out with me for just a second, because now I have, I want to see if I can, damn it. There's this thing. Okay, I can reply. I can... Damn. Hey, Danny, when you're using Restream, how do you pull the chats over and put them on the screen? Oh, hey, Lindsay. I'm glad you're still here, too. So, okay, for any of you who are still here, honestly, I'm probably going to delete this stream later and just... Oh, well, you're not helpful, Danny. Love you. Do. There's a dashboard? Where the hell is that? Hey, I found the live dashboard. Apparently I have one watching on Twitch. Hi, Twitch viewer. Leave me a comment so I know who you are. And if you haven't already subscribed on Twitch, I don't know how subscribers work. Honestly, I know shit about Twitch. But, give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe, or pop over to YouTube and subscribe. Thanks for joining us this morning, by the way. And do, for real, drop a comment in the chat there so I know who you are. Now I'm looking at it on the Restream side here to see if I... Hey, somebody give me a chat I can work with. Oh, never mind. That's the wrong piece. That's the wrong piece. Dashboard. Oh, that is not what I was hoping for. I don't know what the hell that is. It all went wrong so fast. Do. And it's back. Okay. Reply? No, I don't want to reply. I want to... Oh, nice. I can reply. Ooh. I have a little mechanism there where I can respond to only one streaming platform and ignore some of the rest of you. That's interesting. And I mean, if you guys get bored, I totally understand. If you get bored at this point, God bless you and have a great day. Be safe, and I love you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Right now, I'm just trying to kind of get a bite of how some of these settings work. Okay, I think I'm going to stop playing with that, and I'll just go and figure out. I'll just go and watch a tutorial somewhere, and I will catch you guys later. So I'm going to go ahead and call it. Y'all be safe out there. Thanks for watching, and we will see you tomorrow. Cameron should be back tomorrow. Can add as a web widget into OBS. Thanks, Alex. Thanks for joining, by the way. Go to Restream and click the chat button. There will be a link which you can add as a web widget into OBS. Gotcha. I will check that out and get smarter on that shortly. Thanks, Alex, and I'll talk to you guys later. See you tomorrow. And Danny and Alex, I will see you guys Sunday, I guess. And yeah, be safe.